Halo, tes 1, 2. Oke. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening, everyone. So I had to record myself for this second session so that you can replay and watch by yourself the instruction and the material about myth-busting language. Okay. So myth busting is actually a combination of both myth and folklore as well as euphemism. Okay, so it might be related to the story in this society and some kind of better ways to express yourselves in certain situation, and that is called euphemisms. Let's take a look. As educated users of language, many of us have strong feelings on language, including how we should use it. So sometimes as human beings, we tend to use language at will, okay, without compromising the context and the people we are talking to. Moreover, when we are in a foreign country or foreign region, we must not recognize or uh, be familiar with the local languages or expressions, plus or let alone their local folklore or stories. So in this particular material or lesson, we're going to discover what local folklore have to do with the tradition and with their history of local story. For example, in West Sumatra, we have the rich history of Malingkundang, right? So everyone knows that um, Malingkundang was cursed by his mother for not being loyal or a good son. He betrayed his mother, and he denied her mother as her flesh and blood. So that's one kind of folklore or uh, society story that has been believed, or most people knows it everywhere. And in this story, there is the message that is quite important for us to take, which is actually we should be obedient or faithful to our parents. And of course, there are many more messages than just the statue itself. So when we talk about feelings of certain myths or folklore, we should consider whether these folklore are valid or they are merely myths. Okay, so all the myths should be investigated whether it is true or whether it is just popular myths and have nothing to do with reality. Okay, for example, an Indonesian myth. It is said that if we had more children or many children, more than 2 or 3, it is said that we're going to have more wealth or more fortune. Do you think it is valid or it is busted? Busted means tidak diterima atau ditolak. Busted. So the myth is busted, mitos tersebut ditolak atau tidak ada kenyataannya. So you can discuss about this in WhatsApp group, okay, about this myth, which is saying that the more children we have, the more wealth we will get. Is it valid or is it busted? How do you relate to your own belief or your own findings? Next, another story that was this one is a myth, while this one is a story in amongst the society, or we call it a folklore. It is commonly found in the Malaysian peninsula or country. Also, it was said to exist in Bintan Island as well. So most Malays believe that in addition, besides us, the tangible human or visible, which can be seen, besides us as visible humans, there is also invisible, cannot be seen, human, and they're called orang bunian. So it is a popular belief that orang bunian or bunian people live in the jungle, and we cannot see them as they are invisible and they do not mingle or live with ordinary humans. It is also believed by old people that when we go to the jungle, which is very deep jungle, far away from city, without friends or without any companion, there is a chance, there's a possibility of us being kidnapped by orang bunian. So it is an interesting myths or belief to find out. I also want you to discuss about this on the WhatsApp group. Please share your opinion or whether you have any experience regarding this belief. Did it really exist, or it's just a popular myth amongst people living in around mountain range? Yeah. So usually these orang bunian live in the jungle, which is located in the mountains or high hills. Yeah, the tall hills. They usually live there with their fellow people. So you cannot see these orang bunian because they kind of like invisible and are hard to be encountered or hard to meet. So please discuss about this. Uh, okay, let's go next. So, why the hell do we study this popular folklore? Okay, just because they are fun, they represent the local history and the local special identity. Yeah. For example, we talked about the Orang Bunyan. It must be related to the Malay people or Malay belief. Yeah. So it represents uh, the people who believe the folklore. So it has the cultural identity in it. Also, uh, they have their own linguistic variety. Yeah, so we must believe that Orang Bunyan speak another language, which is uh, uh, which cannot be understandable, and it must be interpreted differently uh, by us because the way they communicate is different from normal human beings do. Okay, so we just talked about myths and folklore, which you have to discuss more on the WhatsApp group. Now, as we saw on the title of this PowerPoint, myth busting language have got to do or are related to myths, folklore, and euphemisms. So what is euphemisms? We have talked about myths and folklore. Now we go to euphemisms. Euphemisms is a softer way to express uh, an idea, yeah? Softer way or more polite way to express idea. Sometimes in a myth or in a folklore, we find root words or root expressions. For example, uh, if you ever heard the myth that whenever we put black umbrella uh, stay open, when the umbrella is open and we put them inside our house, something bad will happen. So that kind of language is a bit uh, ambiguous or not easy to understand because that belief belongs to us. So maybe there's another expression to say the same context or the same meaning, right? So we cannot say that to a native speaker because that's our belief. We can only express or we can only explain the myth word by word or sentence by sentence. So euphemisms is a more polite way to express ideas. For example, instead of saying died or die, we can also say pass away. So for example, Maling Kundang died for being cursed by his mother. Yeah, Maling Kundang died for being cursed karena dikutuk, for being cursed by his mother. So instead of saying died, we can replace, or the more polite way to say die is passed away. So we can say Maling Kundang passed away for being cursed by his mother. Also, there's some list of alternatives for the word die, so you can choose any one of this list. There's also dearly departed for expressing died. We can make an example like that cat dearly departed after being hit by a car. That cat dearly departed after being hit by the car. Kucing itu hampir dearly departed or almost died after being hit by a car. So that's more polite way to say died. Yeah. Also, another example is abortion. So instead of saying abortion, a more polite way to mean that is pregnancy termination. Pregnancy termination. Penghentian pregnancy. So instead of saying abortion, let's make an example. The police discovered that the clinic has uh, some abortion cases, or the police found that the clinic accepts abortion or practice abortion. The clinic, the police found that the clinic practices abortion. So instead of saying abortion, we should just say pregnancy termination. The police found that the clinic practices pregnancy termination. So there are many phrases. Yeah, these are called phrases because they consist of more than one word, which can be replaced to say, rough or a bit impolite words. So if you want to find out more, you can go to https //www.clarkandmiller.com. So they list 25 English euphemisms for delicate situations, and also you can Google it. They're all available online. So that is all about the myth-busting language. So in essence, myth-busting language is the language that is used to express myths, folklore, and the language which is used to express polite expressions. Yeah, instead of saying impolite expressions. Yeah, so myth-busting language is about myths, is about folklore, and is about euphemisms. So they are all interrelated and they have the connection between each other. So for now, I want you to do a task, which is finding about one myth that you can the story about. Okay, one myth that is believed, or a popular folklore which is not probably true or valid, but it has the deep history and deep story behind it. So you have to find one story or a folklore or a myth about a particular thing and the message that it contains, and then try to record yourself on YouTube telling that story. Okay, and then I want you to make hashtag uh, TBI YouTube channel so that we can be notified with what you've done. So that is all for tonight's session about myth busting language. So myth busting is about telling the myths and how we validate, how we find uh, the fact or uh, the falsehood or uh, the false side of the story, and how do we use certain language expressions to uh, state one idea. Okay, please do the task immediately. I want you to do it uh, not more than 3 days. Please find an interesting myth and tell us about it. Thank you very much for tonight. We'll see you again on the third meeting next week, inshallah. Billahi taufiq wa hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And remember, I also have posted this PowerPoint material on our website. You can take a look at it and get some ideas in case you forget the material. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.